I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration. When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Are you ready?
That goes in the files.
Are you ready? Let's get it all!
Yo, welcome to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris. And I literally just got done talking about the Rafael Fiziev, Justin Gaethje fight. And just how I think, just because Rafael Fiziev's a 2-1 favorite doesn't mean that Justin Gaethje's going to lose or nothing like that. But I did kind of want to sit here and talk real quick. If you guys want to go watch that, just to me kind of, I don't want to say break it down, but definitely talk about all the scenarios that could happen and why I'm kind of leaning, one way or the other. The one part I really want to talk about, though, is just the whole, like, if Gaethje loses this fight, what does that mean for him? Because I know he's 6-4 in the UFC right now. All 4 of his losses have come from the UFC, 23-4 in MMA. I think he's lost to Eddie Alvarez, lost to Dustin Poirier, lost to Khabib, and lost to Charles Oliveira. Like, those losses are not bad whatsoever. But then this is the case, though. It's like if he goes out and loses against Fiziev, all of a sudden we're 6-5 in the UFC, and we're standing there like, what's our memory of Justin Gaethje gonna be? That's my tough one for me, because it's like I'm such a big fan of him, and you can really say the whole James Vick knockout, the Donald Cerrone, the Edson Barbosa knockout, the Tony Ferguson fights, those 4 in a row that he just absolutely went on a tear after his Dustin Poirier loss. Like, those fights right there are what made us such big fans of him, and clearly the Michael Chandler fight too, or not Michael Chandler, but that fight does. But the Michael Johnson fight, his first fight ever, where he gets out getting rocked, and then he comes back, fights, and does that thing. But it's almost hard to imagine he's even 23-4 with such a great record. It's like how fucking crazy he was. Like, he threw caution to the wind when he first started fighting, and then we've seen it ever since the Tony Ferguson fight. Trevor Whitman had this man down, like fighting with a true game plan, fighting smart. And we've seen it. Like, I know Khabib got him, but he hit Khabib with some of the craziest punches you'll see. Like, he definitely damaged Khabib more than was led on at the time, because Khabib was just going right through him because the whole dad thing. So, like, but if you go back and watch that fight in slow-mo, there's a lot of Khabib uppercuts he ate, or Gaethje uppercuts that Khabib ate, and a bunch of them leg kicks were really bothering him. So the rewatch that fight was a lot of fun and everything. But, man, I mean, the Charles Oliveira fight, he was hitting him, rocked him, all these things. But Charles Oliveira at that time was just untouchable. So, like, I don't know, it's just a tough one, man. This is like a prime example of how much I love MMA, just because those fans don't just quit on a fighter just because they might be 6-5 in the UFC or 2-4 in the UFC or something. Like, I know in boxing, we talk about it all the time, these guys pick and choose their fighting because they don't want to go out there and lose, because once you lose in boxing, for the most part, you're pretty much done with, unless it's like a weird case for like Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, where it's like trilogy happens, one gets one gets the other, or one's a draw, and then so that one's different. But still, like, when you're coming up, especially the lower weight classes, like, once you lose once, you're kind of done, and if twice, you're definitely done. You're not the pay-per-view star anymore, unless you're like Manny Pacquiao or something, who's just out there winning 20 in a row and then loses once every like 8 years. It's different. But still, when it comes to MMA, we're diehard fans because we understand how badass these fighters are, and it's like, yeah, one lucky fucking punch, one lucky little like slip of a transition, and you got the neck. Like, it could be over in MMA. So it's like, I'm happy in the evolution of the game. It's just so crazy. So I'm loving how we don't just quit on fighters, but still, we'll have a Justin Gaethje sitting there 5-4, 6-5 in his UFC career. It's like, what are we going to remember about him? Like, the dude's the human highlight reel. It's the highlight for a reason. Like, the dude's got more bonuses than he does fights. Like, he's an incredible fighter. He's incredible. Always putting on performances, always putting on exciting fights for us. Like, he's an entertainer for sure. So it's not like he's any chance he's going to get cut or anything from the UFC after this fight. But it is tough for me, where it's like, what is next for him? Because, now he's lost both of his title fights, if that was the case, if he doesn't get back to it, if he loses this fight. It's like, I know Rafael Fiziev's a dog, and he's coming up and everything. So it's like, what really would be next? What is there left? Would he move to 170? I know he's talked about it before. I know pretty much everybody in 155 would love to go up to 170 and fight, somebody like Colby Covington. And that's more so just because of the shit talking. And Colby's a true, like, probably a 155er. He talks about how he never cuts weight to stay at 170. And so, like, I know Dustin Poirier wants that fight. I know Gaethje wants that fight just because of the whole Kamaru Usman thing, because that's his teammate and all these things. So, like, I really don't know what would be next for Gaethje if he loses this fight. Because, like, what are you going to do? You've already fought everybody. You fought everybody but Islam in the top 5, top 10. And it's like, who would you fight next? You're fighting the next up-and-comer. I don't want to see you fight RDA. I don't want to see you fight Dustin Poirier again. Like, even though I know it would be an exciting fight, like, I just don't need to see it. I don't want to see the Chandler fight again. I definitely don't want to see the Tony fight again. I don't want to see any. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess we could throw him into another one, hopefully beat, a Chandler or something. But the only fight I guess would truly be out there would be like a Conor McGregor fight would be a lot of fun. But Conor's doing the Chandler thing now, and if Conor wins, he's off to the races. He's fully Islam again. Like, I'm going all Islam. Or like he was saying the other day on Ariel Helwani talking about he might even go after the Edwards-Usman winner. And I'm just like, man, it's all over the place. So, I don't want to be a dick here because I love Justin Gaethje. I just kind of being realistic and looking forward. Like, and this video could mean absolutely nothing. He could win Saturday, and then here we are talking about, oh, what's next for Justin Gaethje? Which I think even with a win, we're still talking who's next for Justin Gaethje. Like I said again, man, he's fought everybody. Literally everybody in the top 5 or in the top 10. Everybody in the division. He's fought everybody. He's fought the who's who. So it's like, I just don't know what more is there. Like, because clearly if he wins, he's going to probably shoot for a title shot one more time, and he's going to have to probably get one more. But, like, who would that be against? Would they do the Dustin Poirier rematch? I mean, I guess I would sign up just for the excitement. But I'm saying if he loses, I don't want to see Dustin Poirier in a Gaethje fight for almost nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if Dustin wins that fight, they could be like, oh, he's the man, get him the belt. If Gaethje wins that fight, it's like, okay, well, Gaethje just lost to Fiziev, so what are we going to do? So it's really tough, and this is sad when we start getting to, even though Justin Gaethje's still young and he's got a lot left in him, I do know even before he did that whole run, like even before the Tony Ferguson fight, he was talking about how he's only got a couple more in him because he's taken so much damage in his career, and he doesn't plan on seeing himself fight that much longer. So, it is sad when we start seeing our favorite fighters kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty and getting down to the end. And, I'm sure he doesn't feel that much pressure on him, but he does probably have a lot of pressure on him for this fight because this is coming down to the end of his chance for a 155 belt. And even at 170, I would really like him at 170, but man, them grapplers at 170, man, like I couldn't imagine him fighting like Bilal Muhammad's not that much of a grappler, but the guy with the pace like that would be really scary. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, those guys would be really scary to see him fight. And even getting to guys like Leon Edwards who have the strength and the guys that can strike with you at 170, like, god damn, man, like Jorge Masvidal against Gaethje would be a lot of fun, but I think Masvidal is just a little more powerful. I mean, clearly he'll never fight Usman, but I'm just saying that type of level there. And like, I don't think Hamzat's ever coming back. But like, could you imagine him fighting like a Jeff Neal, which would be a phenomenal fight? But Jeff Neal's a dog. Vicente Luque, dog. Like, I couldn't imagine him fighting these guys. So, and I know he'd be good. I just don't think he would be able to match that power, and I don't think he'd be able to match the grappling. So I just don't know what's next for Justin Gaethje. If he does win or if he loses, it doesn't matter. I really just don't know what's next. So, clearly I'm rooting for him. I'm a huge Justin Gaethje fan. I am a huge Rafael Fiziev fan too, so this is a tough one for me. But I'm just kind of sitting here thinking, this we're coming down to the end of these runs, and it's the one thing that sucks as being a fan for this long of the sport. But it also is kind of nice that you can start seeing these things and start really to appreciate them. So I'm just saying, guys, be ready. We're coming down to the last couple fights of Justin Gaethje's career, and even if he wins Saturday, still, really, what's next for him? So 5th round, as always, your boy Stephen Moustaris. Let's go, baby.